Hello, Nubis here, and I dropped Fortnite Chapter 1 100 times. No, this is not old footage, this is FortMP, courtesy of these three beautiful lads. And just to get it out of the way, FortMP is a private project, so it's not open to the public. So without further ado, let's get into game number 1. Now even though it's game 1, this isn't actually my first ever game of FortMP. The server had been up for a while before this, but this was around the time when they actually started doing full map games. So I thought it'd be interesting to record 100 drops in Chapter 1, because I know y'all love your nostalgia. The game worked pretty differently in Chapter 1 though, so I died pretty quickly in Game 1. In Game 2, I landed at the beloved sports complex and got a surprise attack on this guy. It is Season 5 though, so the drum gun kinda rules overall. That kill almost made me feel like I was good at the game until I was quickly reminded that I'm not. Not much interesting happened in Game 3, I was kinda caught off guard by this player, but I quickly took care of him. Although things were actually kind of looking up for me in this game, I had decent enough weapons, good materials, and some heals. I actually had a pretty good chance of winning this game. But of course right after that, the server died, so whatever. In Game 4, I got this pretty sloppy kill on Sizzy, but I still got him. Although I didn't really get a break after that.
Who's your fucking trash? Jeremy, kill yourself.
These next games are not good. Here we go. Game 10. Shit actually happens in this one, I swear. I kept my nose clean until there was 6 people left, at which point I sniped this poor lad in the back of the head. And if this guy had anything more than 50 health, he 100% would have killed me. But he didn't. And so, with his sweaty ass back in the lobby, I was able to go in for the easy victory. In Game 11, I got stopped up in this fight outside of Salty Springs. It lasted for a good while, and I almost walked out of it with 2 kills, but then I was shot through a wall, and you know I'm not getting out of that alive. In Game 13, I got completely and utterly dogged on. Yeah, not much to say about that one, I think I'm just bad. Same thing and same person in Game 13. Yeah, definitely a skill issue. In Game 14, I really just got finessed. At least it's not the same person 3 times in a row. Let's just skip to the end in Game 15, where I got sandwiched between the last 2 people and died. In Game 16, I pounced on Spacehead here, and then I took him out with my double pumps. Yes, he was really mad about this. The server did die again though, so it didn't really matter anyway. In Game 17, I landed Greasy, but then immediately had to run to the zone because, did I mention that it's been blitzed this entire time? So yeah, I was kinda destined for a painful death in that one. In Game 18, I landed at Risky Reels, which is one of my favorite locations on the Season 5 map. There I farmed up to nearly max metal, but I barely used any of it when I actually got into a fight. I mean, I did win the fight, but at what cost? I died to the storm anyway. In Game 18, I didn't run into anyone until there were 5 people left. I'm actually surprised I won this fight, seeing I was getting shot in the back the whole time. I cowered in this bush to heal, but soon after I was forced into a fight with the last player left in the match. A fight that I won with 1 clean pump shot. Let's just skip to the end again in Game 20, where I absolutely decimated TI-93 here. Unfortunately though, as soon as I turned this match into a 1 vs 1, I was lost in the storm. I would have loved to get that back-to-back, but oh well. In Game 21, I got 2 quick kills in Salty Springs, but then died to someone way better than me. In Game 22, I got into this just awful fight where I missed pretty much every shot given to me. Somehow, I still managed to come out on top by hitting one pellet for 18 damage. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious I didn't win that one. I don't even want to talk about Game 23, like come on, what the fuck happened there? You'd better not blink, cause Game 24 is already over. In Game 25, I landed Tilted Towers uncontested, which is pretty surprising even in a game with 12 people. The entire game was uncontested, so I didn't have to lift a finger to win it. You know what isn't uncontested though? Game 26. You know, honestly, I find pickaxe battles a lot more fun when they only do 10 damage. Later in the game, I got into this chaotic fight outside of Tomato Temple. With my dying breath, I stuck Jays with my clinger, and even though I died, I can walk away happy knowing that I took that motherfucker out with me. In Game 27, I got teamed on. Moving on. In Game 28, I tracked this man for about 3 years. And yeah, that's pretty much how I expected it to go. I recorded Game 29, but it was recorded in the wrong video format, so I'm just gonna skip to Game 30. And honestly, is it really a 100 drops video if there isn't a game missing? Well, anyway, while we were running away from the storm, we encountered another duo who were rotating from Salty Springs. I was able to spray down both of them, but the second that fight ended, we were immediately attacked by another squad. And they certainly weren't going down easier than the last one. In Game 31, my nameless compatriot and I slid into the final circle with no kills. And as my teammate went in on the final guy, I gave some moral support with my minigun, which allowed him to take him out and win the game for us. Don't mind the lack of windscreen, it was broken on Teams at this time. The next few games didn't go nearly as well. Yeah, I was just kind of taking L's. I slid into the endgame again in game 36 with this one clean rocket shot. Unfortunately though, my teammate was taken out and I was left on the wrong side of the storm. But even when I was overtaken, I was still able to avenge my fallen brethren. In game 37, I tried to help him, I really did. I don't know what he was doing there. And game 38 can basically just be summed up by looking at these maps. Yeah, it was not a fun time at all. In game 39, I shit on the certified best player in the match with nothing but a deagle. Later though, I was shit on by nothing but a sniper. In game 40, 2 of my teammates were taken down right off the bat in Dusty Divot. And while Danny and I were able to get revenge on their killers, we did not last much longer. In game 41, my entire team was picked off one by one, leaving me the last person left on my squad again. And while I was going for the supply drop, I was once again attacked by a full squad. Well, at least I was able to take Uni out with me. In game 42, we dropped Flush Factory, which honestly I kind of forgot existed. We then met up with our other squad member who dropped Greasy for some reason, and with him we were able to somewhat comfortably make it into the endgame. We based up on high ground, which gave us pretty good position against this squad pushing up against us. And with that positioning we were able to easily turn this match into a 4v1. And if you know how 4v1s usually go, we won this one easily. In game 43, we dropped Tilted Towers, and if you've ever been there before, you know it doesn't have a very high life expectancy. In game 44, we went tilted again for some ungodly reason. I should know by now to stop! At least game 45's better. Kinda. In game 46, I built up in the wrong direction. Game 47, I single-handedly took out this squad in Fatal Fields. But of course, because I had the slightest chance to win, the server had to die. In game 48, there was an update to FortMP, which caused there to be, just a slight duplication glitch. It was also played in the getaway mode, which didn't actually work correctly, but it was fun regardless. I looted up for a short while in Salty Springs before I was attacked. Our fighting brought the attention of this guy, but I couldn't be asked to fight 2 people at once on 130 ping, so I just fucked off and left them to it. I didn't evade him for long, so I fought him the only way I know how, with the power of dance. And some bullets, of course. Later in the game, I received a gift from God in the form of 2 supply drops right next to each other and right next to me. While I was in the middle of collecting my divine gifts, I was attacked by a minigun man. He did quite a lot of damage to me, but thankfully I'm good with a heavy shotgun. Fast forward to the final circle, I managed to just barely kill Uni. But I also managed to kill myself. In game 49, I landed Dusty Divot and got into a very fair build fight with this person. I'm calling it fair because I won, of course. That would also be the only fight I'm winning in this game. The only thing that really happened in game 50 is that I donned this bush and then died with it around 10 minutes later. In game 51, I made Uni incredibly angry and then was made incredibly angry myself. Skipping to the end in game 52 because I ran into literally no one until the last guy, who I killed masterfully. Oh, I'm feeling a little woozy here. Once again, I didn't really run into anyone, so I was just kind of left to wander the countryside for a bit, which I don't really mind because Chapter 1 is absolutely beautiful. Once I did run into the final player though, I gassed him out with weapons that are forbidden by the Geneva Conventions. They didn't even get to fire a single bullet on me. It's honestly kinda sad just watching them wither away like that. I was simply minding my own business in game 54 when I was launched high into the sky. I made it over to Tilted Towers, but then was immediately engaged into a fight. I killed them pretty easily, but right after that I was shot at by my final opponent. I shockwaved over to the castle tower where I found some bandages for a quick heal. He sniffed me out pretty quickly, however, so I was forced to fight. But like most people, he was no match for my minigun. Yes, that would be back-to-back-to-back wins. You'll love to see it. Hey, look, it's Season 7 now. And so, in game 55, I finally had the chance to land at my favorite location of all time. And just look at my loot for a second. Look at that. That's insane. And that's all from looting Polar Peak for 2 minutes. I haven't killed a single person. Oh, I definitely killed people later, though. Sneaking my way into the final circle, I grabbed this supply drop. The sound attracted some predators, though, and honestly, I forgot how much damage those old pumps do. In game 56, similar to a lot of games in this, I made my way into the endgame with 0 kills. Stuck on the far side of the zone though, I got 1 kill before trapping myself in and inevitably dying to the storm. Remember, this is Blitz, so the storm is extremely punishing. Game 57. In game 58, I shot Danny out from above me and pumped him in the face. However, like an idiot, I went back into the storm to grab his gold pump. How did I think that was gonna be a good idea? In game 59, I picked up this gold AK, thinking it was gonna help me win some fights. I was very, very wrong. Game 60, it's season 8 now. And even though there's a whole jungle to re-explore, I still dropped into the sports complex. I got this pretty cool kill on Venom, and then was somehow able to hobble my way back into the zone on 2 HP. Unfortunately, I later found myself on the low ground running into the zone with a boombow shooting at me. I didn't win. I click out of my screen once to check my messages, and this is what I get. God damn it. In game 62, I had him on the ropes, but then I just had to open my inventory and... ugh, fuck. Game 63 started off with something that had to be some kind of good omen. Nope. In game 64, I think I fought pretty well, just not well enough. In game 65, I landed Happy Hamlet, and that's also where they sprinkled my ashes. Game 66 was played in the Floor's Lava playlist. I mostly focused on ammo and materials, because after the lava rises, there's no way to get any more. The lava wasn't that much of an issue though, because like most LTMs in FortMP, it didn't work correctly. I had fun bouncing around on the lava until I ran into another player doing the same thing, who I promptly killed, although I didn't manage to get any of the materials unfortunately. After that, I frantically swung my pickaxe around on the lava, hoping to get my hands on any materials I could. Using those materials, I tried to pounce on this player who was taking refuge on top of the salty spire. I clearly thought that this would kill him because I kinda celebrated a bit early. It didn't though, and then my pump shot seemed to just do like no damage. Our lengthy fighting attracted a third party who almost got me, but I was able to make an escape on the lava before he could. We then just kind of chased each other around, flailing our arms hoping to hit a lucky pump shot, which I did, but I didn't really end up dying any better. In game 67, we're back in Blitz and I'm going Polar Peak. The zone stayed on me literally the entire game, so I had all the time in the world to get all the loot and materials that I needed. I posted up on top of the castle and shot down at the tiny blobs fighting below. But even as I was shot down, the other player was lost in the storm, or died to fall damage, or both, and I won the game, yeah! In game 68, I landed Frosty Flights, which I really love, but the zone's not on it enough in Blitz. In this game, I opened 1, 2, 3, and 4 supply drops. Even with my godly loot, we were trapped inside the sports complex with the zone closing in on us, meaning that I died seconds away from the end of the game. Alright, it's game 69, you know what we gotta do. The style doesn't actually work in game, but you know I got it on in spirit. I landed Lonely Lodge because, well, I wanted to be alone. I picked up some pretty good loot and a decent amount of mats as well, so I actually had a pretty good chance of winning this game. I made my way over to the volcano, but found that there were already a few people inside who actually managed to shoot me a bit. I went down to Tomato Temple and found myself a minigun. I also found myself in the middle of a huge fight, which I'm just gonna kind of gloss over because nothing actually really happened in it. I just kinda ended up leaving with the zone and getting slightly beamed. They didn't actually end up pushing me though, so instead I had to cross this lava river with the eyes of a trick shotter trained on me. I used this geyser to go in for the kill, but I was also on 50 HP, so I didn't want to push in too confidently. In the end, I just kinda ended up on the wrong side of the zone, and it's kinda hard to do anything when the storm is faster than you. So yeah, game 69 was kind of disappointing. In game 70, I landed Salty Springs looking for some action. I got a little bit more action than I was bargaining for though. Game 71, I am fucking fuming. In game 72, I landed Paradise Palms, which I really don't do enough, it's a great location. While trying to take the loot out of this chest, I was shot from behind. Unfortunately for them though, I had a boogie bomb which allowed me to shit on them easily. That's what you get for taking game 69 from me. Vehicles were also newly added to FortMP, so I took a quad crasher over to this nearby cactus patch. You know, I appreciate them giving us a desert biome and all in Chapter 3, but cacti used to give you a ton of materials, and now they give you like next to nothing. While minding my own business, this guy rolled up on a quad crasher, so I dinked him in the head with a deagle. I mean, yeah, I killed him. What, you think I'd let him get away? Naturally, like any sane person would do, I tried to fly my quad crasher into the next circle. While trying to get out to fight this guy, I don't even know what happened there. In game 73, I put on the moth skin and landed where Risky Reels used to be. I didn't run into anyone until Dusty Divot, where I ran into this unwashed bitchless fuck. And yeah, he killed me. Get off Fortnite and take a fucking shower! Game 74 somehow went even worse. In game 75, I hit this sick-ass snipe, but I never did find a shotgun. In game 76, I sprayed down this man in Dusty Divot, as well as this poor default who didn't yet know that rift-to-goes don't work. I made it over to the Tilted Valley where my next opponent was sniped in the back of the head. I was relieved until I realized I actually had to fight the person who sniped them, at which point I didn't do that well. In game 77, I got some absolutely colossal loot at Salty Springs. Loot that I used to completely obliterate this other player. You know, I probably could have won this game if I wasn't shot through that wall. Hopefully this spacesuit skin will protect me from fall damage. It might protect me from fall damage, but it definitely doesn't protect me from a minigun to the face. The only part of game 79 I'm gonna show you is me killing this guy. Yep, that's all you get. Ugh, we really need a good game, this is getting embarrassing. As I was going for this chest, I was attacked by a roving aerial assault trooper. He was not much of a problem at all. However, right after that, I was attacked by a boombo on top of the mountain. Thankfully though, they're an idiot and didn't protect themselves while healing. I made it into the final circle, but unfortunately was hit pretty hard right as the zone started moving in. So yeah, I didn't win, but I got pretty close. In game 81, I landed Fatal Fields and was able to farm all the way up to both max wood and stone. I then used my immense amount of materials to build a sky base at the end of the game. I thought my sky base was a lot more resilient than it actually was though, so I just ended up falling to my death. Game 82 was a public match, so we had a lot more players than we usually do. I landed Retail Row and found this bushy boy who was just trying to mind his own business. Unfortunately for him though, he wasn't the only person in his business. I made my way over to the volcano where I was attacked trying to grab the supply drop. I shot them down from their comfy nest, which I guess caused them to fall to their death somehow? I don't really see how, but whatever, I'm not complaining. Still didn't win. Game 83 is still a public game, and I'm landing Tomato Temple to maybe have a better chance to win.
Bro, why are you here? No!
Game 84, I went Loot Lake and managed to walk away with 2 kills unharmed. I then made it into the final circle pretty easily, where I dropped in on these 2 players fighting. Man, third partying's easy as hell, maybe I'd get more kills if I did it more. Unfortunately though, these final circles in Blitz are kind of anyone's game, and it wasn't mine this time. In game 85, I landed Pleasant Park and quickly picked up this purple pump shotgun. I then used that pump to annihilate this player. Later I picked up an upgrade to both my shotgun and assault rifle from 2 supply drops that were right next to each other. I then used my newfound godly loot to sit behind a tree. Hey, it worked. Hey, I also managed to kill Current. It's totally not because he boogie bombed himself or anything. Unfortunately though, against the final player, I missed my shots, and he hit his. Apologies for the next 2 games being in replay mode, I just forgot to record, and I'm not letting these games go to waste. It's also Season 7 again, so I grabbed the plane, cause why wouldn't you? I didn't make it too far before I kamikazed into the ground to fight this Dark Voyager, who I proceeded to dumpster on. After looting him, I hopped back in my plane and grabbed that altitude. I flew around until I was attacked again, where I went with the same strategy of just running my plane into the ground and hoping for the best. He got the first shot off on me, also the second, cracking my shield. But I managed to make an escape with the balloon and also cheekily take his shield with me. After that, he refused to move and ended up pinning himself on the wrong side of the storm, which let me know exactly when he was going to move and made him an easy target. While I no longer had my plane, I was still able to sneak up on this guy who was simply trying to get into the zone. He made the mistake of throwing down a boombox, which let me take him out pretty easily. Shortly after that, the final player came riding up to me on a driftboard, and well, he certainly tried to protect himself. This shot could have actually been quite funny, that is, if I actually killed him. Don't worry, I killed him later, although it's not as clean a shot. This game's really not that interesting though, so let's just get it out of the way. Game 88, I really just got put in my place. Totally deserved that one. Game 89, I embarrassed the TikTok streamer in front of all of his kitty fans. You know I had to dance on them too, show those 10-year-olds who's boss. I later made my way down to Tilted Towers, where I shot this AFK man in the back. Really though, this clip just kinda shows how awful the bloom on the suppressed scar is. Anyway, 1v1, final circle, and I'm keeping pressure on the other guy. I also have the storm advantage, and in Blitz that's really all you need to win. In game 90, I went Fatal Fields and mostly kept to myself until I spotted this plane going for a supply drop. Of course I chased him down and killed him. I then hijacked his plane and flew it into Salty Springs. But I didn't really make it too much farther than that. Changing versions again, now we're in Season 6. I dropped into Wailing Woods this game with the plan of staying conservative and farming a bunch of materials before taking the perma-rift into the next zone. However, there was a whole nother guy there, so I had to abort my plan a bit early. I wouldn't be avoiding him for long though, because I ran into him again outside of one of the cabins. Thanks though to the supreme power of aim assist, I was able to take him down. Boosted with false confidence, I went back to the rift in search of more people to fight. I have no clue why I did that. I'm on controller in this game. It was a huge mistake. I know why I don't play on controller now. In game 92, I was put into a duo with this Keonis guy. I clearly marked fatal fields, but my teammate very much did not go there. My heavy air quotes around teammate went down in Salty Springs, and while I was able to get vengeance on his killer, I was now a solo in a duos game. And while that can go well sometimes, it did not this time. Nope. In game 94, I landed Greasy Grove with a fellow bunny skin. And despite our matching attire, we were very much not friendly with each other. And neither was this guy with me. I only got one kill in game 95. Thankfully, it was the only kill that mattered. I didn't end up getting any kills in game 96. In game 97, I snuck my way into a final circle with 3 people left. One of them I killed, and the other one I didn't. In game 98, I'm actually engaging with the gimmick of Season 6. I picked up a purple heavy shotgun as my first weapon, and then very nearly killed this random guy who landed nearby. I chased him through the vortex for a little while, but then eventually just kinda ended up giving up. Later though, I found the guy who stole my kill on the shore of Loot Lake. Loot Lake or Leaky Lake? I guess it's Leaky Lake in this version. Whatever, I committed a murder. Later, outside of Dusty Divot, I found this guy just trying to get a supply drop. He ran away like a pussy multiple times, but vengeance always comes. Later, in the final circle, I ran into this little fella. I boogie bombed him, hit him pretty hard, and then proceeded to miss, hit for 7, miss, and then finally spray him down. Thankfully though, I had a little bit better luck with the final guy. Just gonna skip to the end in game 99 with this dirty third party. Now it's a 1v1 though, and even though I thought I had a chance for the win when he hit himself with his rocket, my ping advantage was just too much, and I lost the game. Alright, here we go. Game 100. The game was actually pretty uneventful, but at least at the end, the trick shotter became the trick shotted. So, there we go. That's it. 100 drops in Chapter 1. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's been months in the making, and I've just been generally really excited to get this one out. I also want to thank the creators of FortMP, Danny, Mix, and Sizzy. Y'all have been great. FortMP is just amazing, honestly. I've always wanted to play this version of the game again, and thanks to you I can now. FortMP has just generally been a really fun experience that I'm glad I've been able to go through with all y'all. Now, I know it won't last forever, but I'm glad I've been able to do these 100 drops, and it's a memory I'm gonna have for years to come. So, thank you, from the bottom of my heart. It's been a great time.